So now we're going to work on the drain for the bathroom vanity. This is the rough-in plumbing for the bathroom vanity. The plumbers typically don't glue in at the time so that you can remove it. I've drawn these lines on the floor representing the bathroom cabinets. This is going to be a 24-inch sink. And this is going to be a 15-inch 4-drawer. And then a 3-inch filler strip down on the end. That being said, I kind of want my drain to pop out in the center of the cabinet, similar to where these water lines are positioned. This mark here represents center of the sink cabinet. So basically when I'm done, I'm going to connect a pipe from here and come out to the wall there. With drainage lines, you need the water to slope. So you need to establish a 1/4 inch per foot for sloping. How we're going to do that is take our 4-foot level, line it up with center of the pipe, like so. We are going to set some level lines on these studs. There we go. So I got it center of the pipe here. So I can go tick, tick, tick. Now this is the important one. 4 feet away, which would mean 1/4 inch per foot is 1 inch. So this is my level line with this pipe. So if I wanted to slope a 1/4 inch per foot to this joint, I've got to raise this line 1 inch. So that 1 inch line represents where the pipe is going to come out to give me adequate slope to run the water down to the drain. So now that I've marked my 1 inch line up there, I will bring it back to center, or on my new line, and back to center of pipe. And right there. And I will mark here, here, and obviously I'll just redo that one even though it is there. Now those lines are the indicator points for where I'm going to be drilling the holes through the studs to have the slope go continuous. Okay, to prevent confusion, I'm just going to mark the actual lines that I'm going to use. Then I'm going to use my framing square, my speed square, set it up against the drywall, like so. Mark that line across. Mark that line across. And mark that. Now I just need to find the intersecting point so I can start piloting my bit. This pipe off the drywall is sitting 2 3/8 away from this face to center. So I'm going to scribe that in there. 2 3/8. Two and 3/8. Two and 3/8. Okay, now that you've got your holes, your lines marked for your slope, and your intersecting points, you're going to want to get a hole saw bit here. Match it up with the size diameter of your pipe. As you can see, I'm slightly larger than this pipe. That's because you got to keep in mind for coupling fittings and stuff like that. So that is a precise fit right there. So I'm just going to put on my glasses and get these 2 holes drilled. Of course, this is not getting drilled. This is just an indicator line of the height after I get through these last 2. Okay, gotta get that one started. I'm gonna start off on this one. Okay, the reason I had to get those started like that is my stronger power drill wouldn't fit in this cavity space, so now I've got it set in that I can get the larger drill in. Okay, so now I've got my stronger drill, it's corded. Here was the situation before, is that it wouldn't fit into the cavity space without pre-drilling into the wood. So now that I've got it pre-drilled, I'm able to get it in there, and I'll finish this hole off. Okay, there's one. All right, so now we got our holes in. I'm gonna remove this plumber's pipe that he had put on. Probably gonna use it perfectly to come out. Next thing I gotta do is mark out from the bell of the fitting here to my location, cut this pipe and fit it on through. I'm inside the bell fitting. Come to there, and I want that to finish off nicely right there. So I'm looking at 42 3/4. 42 3/4. Again, just put your finger on the line to get it started. It's not a race, just try to saw through, keeping it as straight as possible. Okay, so clean off your burrs. Dry fit your fitting. It's pretty good. Now slide it through your wall. So as you can see here, because of the curvature of the wall, I can't get the pipe through. So what I'm going to do is cut the pipe through, add in a coupling joint so that I can piece this out in a couple pieces to enable myself to get it into the wall. So my maximum piece is right there. It's going to get me to about there. So okay, clean off the burrs. Now that should slide in. Okay, bring it over. With the ABS piping, it's always a good idea to dry fit all your stuff before you get going. That's a big bugger, so what I'm gonna do? There we go. Okay, now that we've got our pipes cut the length, I've just put them all into the wall, dry fit, just to make sure everything's good. Here was my line for the slope. I'm on center of the pipe. going down through these holes and into the existing rough-in plumbing. I'm going to I'm going to finish off by removing this stuff out of the wall and gluing it all up. We've got our pieces removed from the wall, dry fitted once, knowing that they fit correctly. I'm going to start gluing up. Again, I like to always do the bell first so it's not dripping. Like if I start with this and I got to set it somewhere and it's probably going to get debris all over in the glue, and you don't want that. Okay, perfect. Next is the 1.5 inch coupling. And the fitting first. Put around the pipe. Okay, and got my 90 to come out of the wall. Now you can see right here, we're back on our indicator point for creating the right slope. Just got this existing piece that was over here nicely capped off, which prevents the gases from coming into your home. So do the final and there we go. The cap on. That's perfect for the washroom sink. Nice slope, all with code. 1 foot, 1/4 inch per foot, and you're done. Okay, so now that you've got your sink installed and your faucet installed, it's time to do the drain or the drain assembly and finish it all off. So with my kit came the drain assembly. So I've got it just dry fit here, kind of what's going to happen. So these pieces will go down into the sink. This is the only thing you're going to see at the top, and it gets tightened down on like this. This has got to stay out for now. It'll get squeezed in there tight. After you've done that, you gotta hook this part up to it, which has got the metal rod. The metal rod hooks onto this loop that's here that helps you open and close your plunger. This ring goes on here, and that's your finished pull that's in the back of the handle, which will get connected to this part so that when you pull it or push it, it's gonna lift your drain up or close it. Okay, so that's good up to that point. Then we're back to our ABS piping. This is a 1.5 inch trap. Again, it's very important to have the trap. This area always stays full with water until pressure pushes water up and out, which creates like a plug to stop the gases from coming into your house. So have to have a trap. Now this fitting has got a screw tightened down style compression. That slides right onto the end of your overflow drain from your sink. Then I'm going to have to cut a piece of pipe in here once I figure out my heights, depending on where this drain is coming out of the wall. And so I'll figure out the height to cut this one. And then I've got to cut a piece of my 1.5 inch pipe to go into there. and then I've got a coupling that will connect to the existing pipe that we did during the rough-in. So this is kind of a basic picture of what's happening. Our drain coming down through our trap, up and out the drain that we did during rough-in time. If I want to pull the plunger, this plunger is going to be on the back there, connected with all this stuff behind. Fairly straightforward. Make sure you read your instructions for each faucet, just so that you know what the manufacturer is recommending. One thing is you think that I would have thought this would have been an all-together kit where I didn't have to have anything else, but as I was reading the instructions manual, it turns out that I need to use some mastic or silicone in around on this drain flange. So some kits that I've used before come with like a plastic flange like this that you would just squeeze the plastic or rubber flange in there and not need anything else. But this one I do. So not a big deal, but just make sure you read it and know that you have everything that you need to finish the job correctly. Okay, so I've got my plumber's putty here. Again, just with like the bathtub drain. I'm gonna roll it out. A little skinnier this time. Here's my drain assembly. I'm gonna back the nut off the back. Take the flanges off, which go on underneath. Got my plumber's putty. Just gonna run a nice little bead around the whole thing, closing off my joint. Now I'll take this, I'm gonna set it down into the hole. Press it down, so now I've squeezed my mastic. And then I'm going to put this up underneath and tighten down with the nut. I've got my hand up here holding it the best that I can. Okay, that's looking good underneath. Got a little bit of my mastic squeezing out on the sides. Just gonna clean that up. Give it a couple more final tightens. Okay, that's looking nice and solid. Next, I'm supposed to attach this piece. It's got a little rubber gasket that's going inside it. It's just gonna get threaded right on the end. Okay, now here's the tricky part. I've got this loop on the end of my drain, so I'm supposed to drop it in first, then stick this thing in, and tighten this back nut onto that, and that's going to activate the plunger. Must not be sitting right. So if you look up, if you look in here, when I move the rod, the plunger is going up and down. And this is the action that's happening right there. So on the end of that rod is where I'm gonna connect this piece next. The rod will go into whichever hole works for my setup. And then this will come down through here, and then I should have a working plunger. So this part doesn't go on till a little bit later. Well, I'll actually probably put it in right now. See if I can. I just don't like to get too much stuff down there before I do the actual drain hookup because it gets a little bit tight. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but like right here is the other end of that metal rod. So I'm gonna put the drain in the open position. Put the drain in the open position. I'm gonna get up under here. I'm gonna stick this loop on right there, and you can see that I'm not high enough. So I'm gonna try right there. That would be plenty high enough. So second one from the bottom. I'm just gonna loosen this nut so that I can tighten it on the rod once I get it in there. So now I'm on the rod. I'm in the second one, and it's giving me this little locking clamp. Oh, actually I'm supposed to put it on here first, like that. There we go. So it's on there. Now I'm going to tighten this one onto the pole that's on the faucet. All right, that's all tight. So you can see the motion now. So I've got all my stuff hooked up. I'm just going to test the plunger. All works good. Now I'm ready to move along to the finished drain assembly. Okay, so now that I've got my drain assembly attached to the sink, this is my trap that I'm going to work with, and this is kind of like a compression fitting that's going to go around the drain from the sink. So this here is my out, or my drain line going out with the blue cap on it. I can see that this piece here is the other side of my trap. So if I hover it there, you can see I'll just barely have coverage on this pipe. So I'm actually going to cut like about a 1-inch piece of ABS to fit in there. So this will be up a little higher, and then I probably will be able to glue this fitting right onto this pipe, not adding a pipe. If your line is a little smaller, you might need to add a pipe and use a coupling to connect the two pipes, but I got a little lucky with mine that it's pretty well just right in line. And another thing that's kind of, let's get this cap off. Okay, so my drain's up. Another thing that's kind of neat about these traps, if you buy this one that's got a joint piece on it, you can angle your stuff to whatever you need. So if my pipe it's not right in line, but you see that I can move this to wherever I need. And oh, you see I am too short, so I actually am gonna have to add a piece into that. But so I'll probably have to cut a small little piece, coupling onto that, and then put this piece onto it. So I'm going to cut a 1-inch piece for here, and I'm going to cut as small as I can for here connecting the coupling. And then if I bring my piece out to say like this distance, I can control it by moving it in or out to get it right onto where I need to. So I'm gonna cut these couple of pieces that I need, glue them up, and then set on this drain. Here's my trap, my 1.5-inch trap for underneath the sink. This piece here is gonna connect onto the drain assembly that we just put on the sink. Goes on top of there. And I'm just gonna dry fit it and hold it to see where my elevation is going to be. So I'm hovering like right about there, which this is kind of a short distance, and I've got to add a piece of pipe in here anyway, so I'm going to probably bring it up another inch, so my finish will be about there, and then I can still tip it up a little bit more just to create the right slope for the water line. Now you can see my pipe here is at the right distance to be able to hook this trap right in. If you're not, you might have to use coupling and cut another piece of pipe like this, cut it, add a coupling on it, and then connect to it. So I'm in the safe with it. I'm just going to be able to glue mine right on, and I'm going to raise this up by an inch. And so I'm going to cut this piece right now, and I'll show you how to glue this all together. I've got my piece cut. It's just dry fit. I can show you guys a final dry fit of what's going to happen here before I go. This is where these are handy. I'll first glue this up. Put it on that. Right? Then I'm going to loosen this fitting off. Slide it on. Get it in line with my other one. And then reconnect them together. Okay, so take this off. Take this off. Glue bottle's always gluing shut on itself. If you're sloppy, get a cloth on there or something so that you don't get this glue all over everything. Again, put it on the inside, put it on the fitting, connect the two pipes, and rotate it to your position. All right, so that is sitting perfect. Got my other fitting here. Okay, so that's all good. Now I'm going to slip it onto the drain. Okay, so that's all tight. That's all glued. Now, what I like to do now that it's sitting kind of level, just as a final touch before I tighten this, I usually just lift it up a little bit so that it creates that 1/4 inch per foot slope that you're looking for on that drain line. And then I'm gonna tighten this down. All right, everything is feeling nice and secure now. Okay, so now that I've got this tightened up, I've checked my bottom release here. It's kind of a neat feature on this trap. If you drop the ring or an earring down the drain, you can remove this plug here, and your ring should be right there. So that's kind of neat. Some older places don't have that. And yeah, so I've checked that everything's tight. It's all glued up. I'm just gonna run my tap and check for leaks. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Shut my water off. Should have a finished running drain.